Amazing Grace Wheelchair Jump Shot Jesus love poem. The first thing you should do, he said, is get Jesus in the title of your next book of poems. Surveys show Jesus on book covers increases sales by 20, maybe 30%. Okay, I said, what else sells? He said, the old suffering and redemption song and dance, sports, wounds, injuries, any trials overcome by love. And if you can work in sin or evil, so much the better. Jesus increases sales 30%. The devil gets you maybe 15%. After the poetry hustler left, I thought about what he said. I went to the keyboard. I typed in Jesus. Already I felt richer. Saw readers, sales increasing worldwide. Well, almost everywhere. Then I wrote wheelchair. The word moved too fast, I saw, so I spelled it with a slothful comma between each letter of the word. W, H, E, E, L, Z, The slowed down motion felt right. And I began to see copies of my book of poems in every doctor's office. Hell, I'd settle for all the orthopedic and arthritis centers, wheelchair supply stores. Then I remembered what the wise man said about all that. Can't be just a crip story, it has to be somebody strong struck down suddenly by fate. Maybe an athlete in the fight to get back up. Permanent crip stuff don't sell. So I inserted jump shot in between wheelchair and Jesus. Given the subtle resonance achieved thereby, I mean the very image of a wheelchair jump shot is so complex and open to multiple readings. And when you added Jesus, maybe some readers would see the poet healed by Jesus rising from the wheelchair to hit an overtime game-winning three-pointer from the top of the key. And others might see our Lord in an NBA uniform. Either way, it worked fine, and I figured my sales had already increased over 100%. But why stop there? My poem was taken on a radiant glow, and radiant reminded me of radiation and how my con artist advisor said cancer sells too, but only if it's beat. So since I had my own internal garden of radioactivity, the doctors advised pregnant and fertile women should stay 6 feet away from you. Yeah, so what, Doc? What else is new? I added radioactive to my title, envisioning readers who would think of nuclear reactions and maybe weapons of mass destruction and arrive very pleased with their cleverness at readings of my poem as a codified caveat about the human body as the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Or maybe poetry as WMD. But then I saw it was time for the necessary redemption, so I typed in love. I didn't like the way it looked, so I divided each letter of the word with a slash. L/O/V/E, giving that poor old world-weary word a little postmodern dash and dazzle, a rising slant. And I figured by now I was well on my way to the top of the charts. And then I heard voices, maybe best-selling angels, singing Amazing Grace. And feeling very much a wretch, I wrapped my title in that fine old package, knowing that astute readers and poetry students everywhere would see the sin, grace, Jesus arc linking with the wheelchair, disability, the healing, the triumphant jump shot, the congratulatory high five from Jesus, and the old solipsistic cancer of self zapped forever, thus taking the hero into the arms of sustaining, redeeming L/O/V/E. Readers everywhere would hear haunting bagpipes and remember old invitations to the altar, and my book of poems would be in gyms, hospitals, rehab centers, cancer wards, nuclear facilities, police precincts where pipe and drums bands practiced, and in all the church pews between the hymnals and the prayer books. Thus, with bestsellerdom assured, the first poetry book of the new millennium to hit #1, I sent this poem off to the Poetry Hustler to see if he could land me a 6-figure advance based on the title alone. I haven't heard from him yet. But I feel much better having written it, and sometimes singing Amazing Grace at midnight with my friends, rocking the guitar in wheelchair harmonies, remembering old game-winning jump shots, and the way it felt to walk and jump and run, remembering Jesus and the way we loved him when we were children, feeling the radioactivity in my body and the way the body felt immortal until a recent, sudden, strange day, and knowing I am transformed in the sum of this luminous calculus, this numinous, all-praising, all-embracing love requiring no surrender of the critical faculties. I realize with terrific finality that poetry is not, as an old friend once insisted, the sound that the soul makes when it leaves the body. No, poetry is the sound that the body makes when it leaves. The sound of riven flesh when there is nothing, almost nothing left but the soul. Or the poet's heart, an athletic art that we have agreed to call the nado-driven soul, the gracefully amazing, all-singing, all-loving soul. Thank you.